What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Ben Thompson, and as always, I am joined by Charles Norman and Ryan Bush, and we're live again tonight. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about here for you guys tonight. We're going to be going into all things Week 1. We're going to be going into some Bills and Rams. I know that's on tap for tomorrow night, so that's a big game. And we might talk some fantasy football here. I know me, Bush, Charles, we all just had our fantasy drafts here last week. And, there's going to be some shit talking coming up here throughout the season. But, and then we might finish the show talking about some odds and some other week 1 things that, we might be placing some bets. So I know Charles, he's probably got a couple ready to go for this weekend. I got a few ready to go. Some of these spreads and money lines are looking pretty juicy. So, we will get into that here shortly. But before we start, I did want to mention our sponsor, Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch is changing the way men approach hygiene by providing all natural, high quality, healthy products that make you feel like a man and smell like a champion. We're talking bar soaps, hair care, colognes, beard oils, and more. All soaps and products are made right here in the U.S. using the finest all natural ingredients and not cheaply made, harmfully mass produced products. New to Dr. Squatch, save 10% off orders of $20 or more on your first purchase with our promo code DSC BRICK with 2 C's and the number 10. Once again, DSC BRICK 10. That's 2 C's. And that's going to be listed down in our description here. So go ahead and make a purchase through Dr. Squatch. It's going to help you out. It's going to help us out. And we look forward to working with them. But let's get into it this week, guys. Bills and Rams on tap for tomorrow night at 8:20 p.m. That is the NFL kickoff show. And something that I am really looking forward to, boys. So we got the Bills, we got the Rams, SoFi, Rams raising the banner. As you can see, we got our picks down there at the bottom. So I'll start off with you first tonight, Bush. Tell me why you are taking the Rams and kind of what you think about this matchup as we head into the game.
I think this is going to be an excellent way to kick off the season. I mean, everybody's taking the Bills in the AFC this year. They are a very popular team throughout the league. I think Josh Allen gets a lot of love, not just from, Bills Mafia, but all throughout the league as well. I mean, how can you not like a guy like Josh Allen? No better way to kick off the season. However, I am going to take the Rams. They've got home field, and they're raising their banner. They're raising their championship banner. So I just feel like it makes the most sense to take the Rams in this case. I think Buffalo will certainly challenge them, and I think they'll challenge them early. I don't think it's going to be one of those comeback type of situations. But overall, I mean, it's just such an even matchup all across the board. The Rams are one of the favorites in the NFC. The Bills are right there 1-2 with Kansas City and potentially Cincinnati, depending on who you think is going to come out of the AFC for one of the best teams. So I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks going off. It's going to be a great way to kick off the season, and it's been a long off season, if I might just add. I mean,
It has.
this felt like it took forever, and we're finally here. So
Right.
I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm so pumped. Going to be able to watch the game here tomorrow night. I don't have to work, thankfully. So we'll be checking that out. I got one of my boys here, Radek Moore, chiming in. He's a big Rams fan. I work with him over at Round 1. So what's up, Radek? Go Rams. But I think it's going to be an amazing game, Bush. It's going to be weird seeing Von Miller come back into that stadium repping some Bills gear. It's just it's gonna have a weird feel to it. You got Allen Robinson, who's on a new team. I think he could have a breakout season as well. And it's just, crazy to think we're here. We're finally here. So, Charles, before I toss it back over to you, one of our boys, Joey Woods, chiming in. Welcome to the show, Joe. Does this offseason seem like there was more key player movement than maybe anyone can ever remember? You know what? It has seemed
I
that
think
way.
so. It does seem like that. And even like we talking about Von Miller, but even last week, and I have to admit my ignorance here, because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the Eagles traded for him last week, but apparently he's like one of the Saints' top defensive players, and that's just one of the many people who has left. Russell Wilson, you look at him leaving Seattle after 10 years. Who else left? I mean, there's a lot.
Matt Ryan,
Matt Ryan. Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
There was
Devontae
just a
Adams.
shakeup.
AJ Brown.
Devontae,
AJ
yeah.
Brown. Can't
AJ.
forget that guy.
Mari
I would even throw
Cooper.
Juju in there. Juju's on
Yeah.
the Chiefs now.
Juju's on the Chiefs now.
Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins. I mean, we've had some serious moves over this offseason. There's been no shortage of stuff to talk about, that's for sure.
And it started
And
off slow.
Deshaun Watson too. So
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
I mean, yeah. So it started slow. I agree, Charles. But yeah, no, there was certainly some serious movement this offseason. But why don't you kind of take us through your take on the game here for tomorrow? I know you are looking like you're going to be going for the Bills here, so let us know what you think and kind of maybe any bets you might be sprinkling.
Bills by 8.
Bills by 8.
But look, first of all, before I get started, this was the longest offseason. I think as I get older, the offseason just get longer and longer and longer, and we just wait for football. We got to struggle through the preseason. We're like, I don't know, junkies waiting for our next fix once the preseason gets here. And it's finally here tomorrow. I mean, they're playing America's game for the Rams right now on NFL Network. And I think this is the one team, like every other team that won the Super Bowl these last couple of years, you can say, oh, I can see them going back. In my eyes, I can see them going back. So the Bucks, for the last 3 years, the Bucks, the Chiefs, and who was before the Chiefs? The Patriots. You could have saw them going back again after that. I just can't see the Rams going back. I know a lot of you two are very high on the Rams. I am not high on the Rams. They are raising their banner tonight. I think it's kind of shitty that they we talked about their Super Bowl ring, but I think it's kind of crappy that they didn't put 2 of those Lombardi trophies on there. They're just like not acknowledging the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf at all. And I think that's kind of crappy, but that has nothing to do with the game. I just wanted to say that. But I think the Bills, everyone's hot on the Bills. I am not, as you guys know. I'm like, okay, whatever. I did pick them, I think, last week to win the Super Bowl. I honestly can't remember who I picked to win the Super Bowl. I think it was, but Josh Allen, who Joe's watching. Josh Allen is probably his favorite quarterback in the league, and this guy has an arm. When he was coming out of college, we both just salivated in his arm. And you look at Gabriel Brown, who I thought is going to have a breakout season this year. You got Stephon Diggs. The running game there with the Bills is something that is a little bit shaky. But I just think that team, coming off that loss against Kansas City with 13 seconds left, they played the game the other day. I'm sure Josh Allen was watching. He got all fired up again. But you got to think that he did enough to win the game. And his defense let him down. And his special teams let him down. His coaching let him down. And I think that he's going to come out swinging and do pretty good tomorrow night. And they're going to beat the Rams.
Charles, don't forget about Dawson Knox either. They just signed
Yes,
him to
they
a
just
4-year
extended him
extension
today. Yeah. And Dawson Knox I think he's an underrated tight end, but a really good tight end. So you think about and then the weapons, like you mentioned earlier, Von Miller. Although I think it's weird seeing him coming back in with the Bills, but he was in LA for a hot second, right? Like he just got traded there last year, right near the trade deadline, and then was gone. But right. I can totally see. This Rams team is just not. It doesn't speak. They have Cooper Kupp. I know Allen Robinson. The defense is looking nice, but they just don't scream like we were the defending champs. It's just not giving that for me, and I think the Rams will end up losing this game tomorrow.
And I know one thing that you were kind of hung up on too. I know before we started the show, actually, we were talking about Matt Stafford's elbow, and there's a lot of people worried about that. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I know even Rams fans have been talking about it this offseason. And again, here's another great comment coming in from Joe. I think James Cook could have this could be a coming out game and story for him. Rookie running back. The Bills haven't had the best backfield over the last couple of years with guys like Singletary, and I believe they had Matt Breida and Zach Moss. So there's been a drop off, if you will, in the Bills' backfield, and I believe that that's something that holds them back. I know I went to the Patriots game in Buffalo last year, the Monday night game where or Mac Jones only completed one or two passes, and one of the guys sitting next to me, huge Bills fan, season ticket holder, he's like, "Man, we could be so much better, but we keep handing it to Singletary like it's gonna work." And I told him, I'm like, man, I totally agree. So um, I continue to think back about in previous fantasy season last year when I fleeced Jenna's dad. I traded him Devin Singletary straight up for Jalen Hurts. So sorry for that one, Tim. I know you were hurting last year, yeah, but we'll see how things go this year. Like I mentioned, we're going to be talking shit. All three of us are in the same fantasy league, as you could imagine. So we all have really good teams. I think I looked at the
I
standings.
don't.
I looked at the standing projections. You were towards the bottom, but
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
and Bush is naming his team after Aaron Rodgers. He named it Armed Rodgery, and he picked Aaron Rodgers in the draft. So, uh, little confused about that. But getting back to the Rams, Raddick chimes back in and says, "This is the healthiest Stafford will be all season, most likely. He rarely threw in camp and preseason." Now, yeah, well, that's true. I still think it's lingering a little bit.
Yeah, but
Um,
he's got to get his arm into throwing position. You're not going to go out there and throw the ball 20, 30 times and not feel that elbow soreness.
oh yeah, so
Yeah.
he's got he'll get 10 days or 9-10 days to rest after that first game. But Charles, before we move on from you, man, you look at the odds there. You look at the money line numbers. This was updated just a few hours ago. So, what might you sprinkle there if you were going to be a betting man this weekend? He's on mute.
Sorry, is it
No,
Rams plus 2.5 there?
it should be, yes. That's my
Yeah, okay.
mistake. Yep,
I go ahead and take the Bills there. Bills to cover. Obviously, I said Bills by 8.
that's
I
true.
sprinkle a
Yeah,
little something on that, you know.
right.
But
I
it
even thought Rams money line. That's juicy. Plus money.
yeah. And then I'm going like if you go into the same game or anytime touchdown score, I think Dawson Knox gets one, right?
Yeah, I would agree
Um,
with that.
Cooper Cup may get one too. I think he'll have over 5 receptions in the game, right? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then
Certainly.
Stephon Diggs to go for at least 50 yards in that game.
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
Well, he'll
So,
be lined up on um, Jalen Ramsey, so let's not forget about that.
right.
A little bit chippy, but you know what T. Higgins did to him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And Jamar Chase, for that matter.
Yeah, yeah. So let's.
right. I think the thing for the Bills that's kind of tough on their defense is that Tre'Davious White is on the pup list, and he's going to be missing the first 4 weeks. I by no means am sad about that whatsoever, but I think he's definitely a solid piece in their secondary, and I think when he's in the game, there's a difference. So go ahead,
I
Charles.
gotta correct myself. I said Gabe Brown earlier. Gabe Davis. Somebody correct me. Don't let me look like a fool out here. Gabe Davis is the receiver that for the Bills, who I think, you know, this guy scored 3 touchdowns in what 2 minutes in the playoff.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys remember that route he ran?
The one that looked like
against-
he punched the cornerback because
he fell so hard and
Oh
so
my
fast.
God.
right.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
that shake was unbelievable. That guy didn't know what hit him. Did not know what hit him.
Shit, I didn't even. I thought Gabe Davis hit him.
Yeah, right. Like bam, right as he was running past him. But,
So, as for my take on this game, I am also going to go with the Rams, like Bush. I think the Rams come out firing. You're at home in LA, banner raising ceremony. Just won the Super Bowl. I think everyone is still pretty high on them. A lot of people are picking them to go back to the Super Bowl. Hell, I just saw today that on NFL Network, everybody that works there picked the Bills to go win the Super Bowl. So
Everyone did.
um,
Everyone.
everyone's putting their money on the
It's
Bills.
not going to happen.
I don't see it happening either. I think they get back to the AFC Championship and lose again to the Chargers. But yeah, no. As far as this game goes, I got the Rams coming out firing tomorrow. I think Cooper Kupp is going to look solid. I think the Rams offense is going to look solid. And don't get me wrong, I think it's going to be a close game. These odds are very close. It's going to be a 3-point game. I think when I was back on the Michael Balco show here a couple weeks ago, I predicted that this would be like a 27-24 type thing where Matt Gay's maybe kicking the game-winning field goal at the end. So, yeah, I think it's going to be close. I do love the Dawson Knox anytime touchdown scorer prop. I think, yeah, I'll definitely have to take a look at what the odds are on that one. But, yeah, no, I think the Rams come out. They look good. They get the dub week 1. And like I said, I think the Bills catch their stride week 2 when they match up against the Titans. They're going to have the Titans on Monday night, week 2. So looking forward to it, boys.
They'll lose the Titans game.
You think they lose that game too?
They're all scared of it. Oh, I do.
Not two. But
yeah, I think they'll win week 1, but I think they'll lose to the Titans because they're all scared of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Josh Norman still has nightmares about that.
Josh Norman.
I mean, he got thrown out the club.
He got thrown out the club.
They were playing the highlights of that game earlier. That one was the one from 2 years ago. The one last year on Monday Night Football. I mean, he just did what he wanted to him.
Yeah, Buffalo lost on a goal line stand.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets about that. I mean,
hell, you never know what you're going to get with the Titans, though, and we'll get into their matchup here shortly. But let's keep things moving here. We'll take a look at the week 1 matchups. We got plenty of great matchups this weekend. You got the Saints going into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome there to take on the Falcons. You got the 49ers, Trey Lance making his start against Justin Fields and the Bears. That Steelers-Bengals game looks pretty juicy. So we'll go through all these. We'll get a nice little breakdown here. I think we're all pumped up to talk about these games, but I'll kind of throw it back over to you here, Bush. Let's talk some week 1 Saints-Falcons. Who do you like in this game and why?
I like the Saints. The Falcons, to me, they're in such a rebuild mode at the moment. I think they've got a couple of really important pieces on the offensive side of the ball. With you've got Kyle Pitts, you've got Drake London. But as far as your quarterback situation is concerned, it's looking like Mariota is going to be your week 1 starter. And I'm not knocking Marcus Mariota. I thought he filled in very, very serviceably in Oakland. Now Las Vegas. But I think that the Saints have one of the more underrated offenses in the NFC. If you think about it, Jameis Winston threw, I think, 14 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions before he got hurt last year against the Bucs. And he was trending in the right direction all season long. I mean, he was taking care of the football. He wasn't throwing those boneheaded picks. And I think now that you have a healthy Jameis, you've got Alvin Kamara, who won't be suspended until next season, which is, I'm sure, something we'll discuss at one point. But you've got Alvin Kamara, you've got Jarvis, you've got Chris Olave, and you've got Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is going to have a big comeback here. I really do. Drew Brees isn't throwing him the football, which I think kind of hurts his value if you took him in fantasy. But I think Michael Thomas is still incredibly productive. I just think that the Saints have more firepower, both offensively and defensively, than the Falcons do. I see the Falcons struggling all season long. I just don't think they have the right team. I mean, you think about everything or everyone who they've let go of over the past couple of years: Matt Ryan, Julio, they're in such a rebuild mode. I don't see them being very competitive. So I'm going to take the Saints week 1 against the Falcons.
Charles, how about for you, man? I know you got the Saints winning this division. Here's another look at your division winners from last week. Um, Take us through what you're thinking in this game here, and
Can you put the graphic of the games back up real quick
yeah, yep, I got you here.
uh, for betting purposes? I like the Saints to cover this game. Um, minus 5.5. Yeah, they'll win by at least a touchdown in this game. The Falcons just ain't there yet, and I don't know. Arthur Smith is their coach, and he just there were times I shared where it was like, what are these guys doing? And he was a first year head coach. I do think that he can improve, but like I said before in other episodes, the quarterback is a problem. Marcus Mariota, I just don't think, and I agree with Roddick. I was actually just reading it on Facebook. I think this is going to be a very good game unless they put, okay, I don't want to mess up his name, number 24 on the Falcons. I know
Was that
That's a
AJ
thanks.
Terrell?
AJ Terrell. Okay, I was
Yeah.
going to say
Yeah.
that. If they put him on Michael Thomas, then they don't really have much to go after that defensively. So you got Chris Olave and those guys, and like Bush said, Jameis Winston was having a pretty good year last year before he was injured, and he was doing well against the Bucks to be, them to be the defending Super Bowl champions. So I definitely see the Falcons losing this game. I just don't think they're there yet. I'm not sure if this is going to be a year where they're just trying to get things together and then put a piece at quarterback next year, like actually finding that piece, because Mariota's not that person. He's not. And I know if Joe's still watching, he loves Marcus Mariota. He wanted the Eagles to trade everybody, including me, to get that first pick to draft.
You know, I was high on Marcus Mariota when he got in there a couple games there with the Raiders, and there were some flashes. But I just think him getting back down there and trying to command an offense that is just really not very good. I mean, that's all you can really say about the Falcons offense at this point. I just I'm not sure how Mariota's going to look either, Charles, and
Mhm.
so
But I did forget Kyle Pitts, and if that's something, and Cordero Patterson, the way they use him, that can be helpful if the Falcons keep this game. If in fact the Saints, I think the Saints win, but if they don't cover, it's because the Falcons have controlled the clock more.
yeah. And like I mentioned last week too, I'm interested to see kind of how Drake London fares in his rookie season. I know a lot of people were high on him coming out of the draft, so he is going to have a great opportunity to become a number one wide receiver down there in Atlanta for several years to come. So, um, but yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say about this game other than the fact that I think this is a good opportunity for the Saints to come out and show their firepower. It's going to be a big divisional game, and you know they look at we talked about the receivers. Bush, I think you nailed it perfectly. In terms of Michael Thomas coming back, you got Chris Olave there. Jarvis Landry's down there now. So, and these guys are going to look good this year. I really think the Saints have a great potential to make some noise this season. I know I didn't include them in my playoffs. It was tough. It it was close. I was right between them and your Cowboys, but ultimately left them out. So yeah, again, Charles, I agree. I'm going to go minus the 5.5. I think they win that game easily by a touchdown. And if they don't, I'm going to be a little confused. So go ahead.
I agree with Jerry, who just popped up here in the comments. It could be a trap game, a divisional game like this, week one. Both teams have had the whole offseason to prepare for their opponents. They're familiar opponents. So I think I do think the Saints will cover. However, this could be one of those games where you're looking at a divisional opponent and you've been able to prepare a game plan for the whole offseason. Because it's kind of like what the Eagles did, not divisional wise, but to the Falcons last year. No one knew what they were going to be. They had the whole offseason to prepare for the Falcons. They snuck away with a win and then went 5 after start the season after that. So that can be the same thing that the Falcons do here. But I that is a good point to make there, Jerry. You muted, Ben.
Certainly. So we're going to pull up the next we'll pull up the next matchup here. We got 49ers going into Chicago to take on those soon to be Arlington Heights Bears. Bush, I'll toss it back over to you, my man. This game is -6.5 in favor of the 49ers. We've talked about the Bears having a potential terrible season this year. Kind of run us through your thoughts on this game and how you think Trey Lance might fare in his week one debut.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Niners in this matchup. I again, very much like the Saints, I just think the Niners outmatch the Bears both offensively and defensively all across the board. So, yes, you have Trey Lance under center starting week one. Jimmy G just returned as a backup. So I think that they've got that situation all settled here before the season, which I thought was very important for them to do. Because in one of our podcast episodes a few weeks back, I said that it was going to be very, very important for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to figure out what they're going to do about the quarterback situation. Who are you moving forward with, Trey Lance or Jimmy? And I think that they made the right call in moving forward with Trey Lance. But, you've got Debo, who is as dynamic of a playmaker and as fun of a player in the league to watch as anybody else. Brandon Naiuk, who, as I said last week, I predicted to be one of my breakout players for this season. You've got George Kittle. You've got a healthy offensive line. Trent Williams is the best left tackle in the league. Elijah Mitchell is back there as well. I think he fared very well in that zone running scheme that Kyle Shanahan has implemented. And, I think that Fred Warner is such a menace in the middle of that defense. One of the best linebackers in the league, if not the best.
And I don't think he gets talked about enough. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't think Fred Warner gets the talk that he deserves.
No, not nearly enough. Not near. I completely agree. Not nearly enough. I think that they just extended him this past offseason as well. If it wasn't this past offseason, it was the offseason before. But Fred Warner is a menace. I mean, he's right up there with Shaq Leonard. And, hell, I'll even put Micah up there as well as some of the best linebackers in the league right now. So I'm going to take the Niners. I'm really excited to see what Kyle Shanahan does with Trey Lance because Shanahan has such a creative offensive scheme. I've been talking about this all offseason. I love what the 49ers do. I think that they're incredibly creative in their scheme. And I just think that he's going to put Trey Lance in the best position possible to succeed. I can see them running a lot of RPOs. I can see them running a lot of pistol formations. I love the pistol, by the way. I think it's one of the coolest formations in all football. But I really see them utilizing Trey Lance's strengths to their advantage. And I think that Debo is going to have another incredible season, and they've just got such a good supporting cast around him. And George Kittle is as reliable of a tight end and a security blanket as some of the best tight ends in the league. Yeah. So I'm going to take the Niners week one.
For sure. So yeah, that's another thing. We got to make sure we're getting our picks in here because I got to make sure we're keeping track of these. This is going to be a battle all season with you guys. So Jerry also chimed in again. He asked if we heard of Steve Young's comments on Trey Lance. I have not, but Charles, I was wondering if you may have.
Yeah, so Steve Young basically called Trey Lance, and part of it, he called him an elite processor. I think those two words are being, the elite word that he uses being overblown right now, but I think Steve Young had high praises of Trey Lance, as he should have. This is a young guy who has a lot of tools in his tool belt, right? And I think if you look at even last year when he played, you can see he wasn't really there yet, but he's going to get there. And I think last year sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo really gave him the chance to really actually learn the offense. So having that year in the offense under his belt and then being able to play this year, I think we'll see, that guy's got he's got a good arm. He's better than that other North Dakota State quarterback that came on a couple of years ago, like before him. But seriously, I throw Steve Young's comments just the elite word. I think we throw that word around way too much, but I think
Yeah,
Steve
I
Young,
agree with that.
Steve
That's a big
Young
word to be tossing around.
yeah.
It's
Um,
kind of like goat, But yeah, I mean, this matchup, I don't think it's going to be close. I know these two teams seemingly do have close matchups, but I'm not looking forward to be too super close. I'll take the 49ers as well. And Charles, if you had more to add, by
yeah,
all means, go
and
ahead.
just and while because he I got enamored in the elite word there, but he did say that he had to getting the ball to his players is something that he needs to work on. But being able to identify the guy is something, and it's something that we saw last year. Being able to identify the guy is something that he's good at, but getting the ball to them. So yeah, um,
Yeah.
did I pick yet?
No, you have not. So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say on this game. I really don't. I mean, I'm rolling all 49ers. I think this is going to be a cakewalk for them. So by all means, go ahead.
And I'm going to pick them to cover too.
Yeah, I think that would be a safe bet as well. Um, and I don't want to get off on too big of a tangent because I know we haven't talked about it yet. But do you guys find it a little bit weird that they're bringing Jimmy Garoppolo back after the seemingly the goodbyes and the not sure where he's going to play next. We are moving on with Trey Lance and that stuff from Lynch and Shanahan, and now he's back, and it's like I just don't know how this guy's supposed to feel. I know you need like you need to plan if Trey Lance is going to get hurt, and you have a guy who's going to come in and know that offense, but I don't know. I just thought
That's
bringing Jimmy back with the no trade, no whatever clause, it just felt odd. So
that's so you need a plan, but that's not your plan. That's not the right plan. Even though he
right,
knows the offense, if you're going to move forward, you got to move forward, which is what I brought up in that one episode. I thought they weren't going to move forward from him, but I did. I when they did, I also thought that they're going to keep Jimmy around. If they kept Jimmy around, it's not going to be good for Trey Lance. And I hate to say like mentally because look, you need to be able to play football no matter what. Who's on the sideline watching you? But that first time that he throws an interception, the media loves to start a controversy with that first game that they lose. And if he doesn't do well, the cameras are going to go to Jimmy Garoppolo standing on the sidelines. And
right,
it's going to start something that really isn't there because he's a young quarterback. He's going to throw those interceptions. He's going to lose games on bonehead plays. And he has to be able to do that. That's how you develop a quarterback. You can't learn from something that you don't do.
right. And that's funny that you mentioned that because I know a few weeks ago when we were talking about this situation, Bush, I know you were one that said, if Garoppolo gets in there and he starts messing up,
Yeah.
when are they going to start chanting for Lance? So
And
it's
it's
funny
funny.
how things have turned over the last few weeks,
And
He's
again,
the exact
they don't
opposite of him.
chant.
I know.
Yeah.
He said that last time too.
Yeah. I just, I agree though. I just, it's precarious to me. And I even read a report that Trey Lance was a little annoyed that they brought Garoppolo back. And I can't fault him for that. I think a lot of people are going to look at that and say, well, you're a rookie. You really haven't earned a whole lot of credibility in the NFL yet to be feeling a certain way about a team's decision. Maybe sit your ass down. And I think, no, actually, I don't agree with that at all. First off, he's not a rookie. This is his second season. He started a couple of games for him last year, most notably against the Texans later in the season, and he beat them. Mind you, the
Right.
Texans weren't a very good football team, but Trey Lance did beat the Texans. And I don't know. I don't know what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's thought process was in bringing him back. Maybe they felt like they weren't going to find a suitable trade offer and figured, all right, well, then let's restructure his contract and then see if we can maybe deal him at some point during the offseason the following year, at some point during this upcoming season. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know, but I agree. There was just so much back and forth and the goodbyes, and
Just seemed
but
odd, you know?
it seemed very odd. But like I've said, guys, these organizations are incredibly buttoned up. You don't know what their next move is going to be. You have
Right.
no idea.
For sure.
I need to
And
correct something from earlier.
go
and
ahead.
This is off topic. I'm actually projected to finish third in our fantasy league, so I didn't do as bad as I thought I did.
Damn, he was stuck on that.
Yeah. He was thinking about that in the back of his mind, like, oh,
Damn,
God.
I didn't do that damn bad.
But yeah, so we are going to kind of move on to the next game here. Before we do,
Thank you, Jenna.
Jenna's chiming in. Bush, I do agree. Is that the hat collection for this season?
Fuck that hat.
Yeah, it's the Charles. Charles is such a sweetheart. Those Eagles mouths have such nice mouths on them. Yeah, so this is actually, if you guys have been watching NFL Network, you'll see during training camp that New Era's released a whole camo collection for teams, and I saw it in the mall. I was shopping with my girlfriend, and I decided to get it. I think it's a really good looking hat. They have it for every single team. So
yep.
Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate the shout out.
I've seen them on the sidelines here over the preseason. I thought they looked nice myself. But let's keep things moving here. Let's talk a little Steelers and Bengals. We got the Steelers at +6.5 here this weekend in a +230 money line going into Cincinnati to take on the defending AFC champion Bengals. Bush, right back over to you, man. How do you think things are going to fare this week for the Steelers? Trubisky's at the helm. You got Najee Harris in the fold, but you got those Bengals looking just as good as they did last year with that fiery offense. How do you feel about this game?
Yeah, so I'll try to keep this one as brief as possible. I think that Cincinnati's going to win. I think Mike Tomlin is always going to keep his team competitive. There's no question about that. He has not had a losing season throughout his tenure as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. But again, Cincinnati's the defending AFC champs. I think that they're really going to come out firing. The Steelers are starting Trubisky, who I believe that was the correct call, but I just don't see them having the firepower to match up against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for him. Trubisky, there's going to be a little bit of a difference than Ben Roethlisberger, of course. But, yeah, as he pounds the shit out of another Truly.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this guy
these are
every
amazing.
week. Truly, please sponsor us.
Yeah,
But-
now I won't say what I was going to say, but yes.
Go ahead, Charles. I'll we'll get your analysis and pick here on this game, and then I'll make mine.
I'm just going to give you the pick here. I'm going to pick the Steelers to cover here. Again, this is a divisional game, week 1. Mitchell Trubisky, you two have said during the offseason that that he's got something to prove, and this is his opportunity. George Pickens, this guy is amazing. TJ Watt, that defense is still intact. I think there'll be a lot. I think Ben Roethlisberger is one of the things that has held the Steelers back for like the last 5 years. I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year or go on a deep playoff run, but I think that they can make a little headway here. And, I'm not high on the Bengals. So
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and pick the Steelers to cover here, but the Bengals win in a close game.
Fair enough, man. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals to win this game. I think it will be close as well. Maybe if this was 7.5, I might take it. But, yeah, no, I certainly got the Bengals coming out looking good week 1. The Steelers will have plenty of time to catch their strides. So moving on, let's talk about your Eagles, Charles. We're going to go Eagles-Lions here. Eagles only favored by 3.5 over these Lions, who everybody's talking about with this, the off-season Dan Campbell
Biting kneecaps,
coach of the year talk, and just the hard knocks and things like that. I'll let you go first on this one, then we'll get over to Bush and myself. But this is a little closer than I thought the odds were going to be.
Eagles by 20. Fuck the hard knocks. Fuck all of that. It's stupid. Like they're on hard knocks for a reason because they fucking suck. You never see a Super Bowl champion on Hard Knocks. Show me a Super Bowl champion that's been on Hard Knocks either the year before or the year of or the year after. They suck. Okay, it's still the Lions. I know that they've been in pads and they've been hidden. I'm telling you, if the Eagles lose this game,
let's hear it. Let's hear a bold take right now.
if they lose this game, we'll have to go live.
I think if the Eagles lose to the Lions, Charles, you have to go out and buy some sort of Cowboys merch and represent it on our next live show.
I wish the fuck I would.
Over his dead
I
body.
think that's fair. Yeah, right. Exactly.
You got to catch me on the corner doing something else. Not that.
Now Jerry might catch you down there.
Yeah,
you catch me on the well, Jerry will catch me on the corner selling ass before I wear Cowboys anything. But no, they should win this game. I'm serious. Plus 20 by 20.
Right.
I mean, it's still, they
Let's not overthink it here.
They're 44-6, and everyone's like the Lions. The coach is getting down and doing push-ups. Last time I checked, that coach ain't getting out on a fucking field and playing a game this weekend.
That's right. He had his time. He had his time. He's wearing the headset now.
He's wearing a headset. The coaching staff. Do you see? Yeah. Did you also see that almost in every game that they went to go play, their starters got fucking kicked, their faces kicked in? Right. They didn't look well. They didn't look good.
No, they did not.
So, still the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. So Bush, give us your quick take, and I'll give mine, and we'll keep things moving here.
Yeah, normally I'd be inclined to say fuck Philly, but they're gonna stomp the shit out of the Lions. I don't think there's any question. About it. I don't think it'll be by 20. I think it'll be by 10. I want to say because as I've mentioned, I do think the Lions are very competitive, but it's a no-brainer. I'm taking Philadelphia plus 10. And I see Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown hooking up maybe once or twice in the end zone. So
sounds good.
I'm going to take Philadelphia.
I'm going to go Philly as well, and I'm going to take them by 24. I think it's going to be even. I mean, I think it's going to be
shit out of them.
Hell, I'm gonna buy up that spread like you wouldn't believe, man. I mean, come on, this is a no-brainer. So, yeah, I'm not buying into the Hard Knocks bullshit that everybody else is. I'm gonna go Eagles by 24. Jerry,
Jerry, if you like losing money, go ahead and do that, buddy. You muted, Ben.
But let's keep things moving here. We'll get back on topic here. Patriots at Dolphins. This is a game that is in my wheelhouse, of course. Looking for the Patriots to start off hot this year, go down to Miami, and hopefully get a damn W down there. I know it's been tough over the last couple of years. We've talked about it. Patriots, what was it? 3.5. Man, give me that 3.5. Hell, give me the money line. I know I'm going to sound biased as hell here, but I'm taking my squad. I'm not picking the fucking Dolphins. They might make the playoffs, but I'm looking for the Patriots to come out and make a statement here week 1. How about you, Bush?
I think that this is going to be a close game, but I'm going to take New England. Everybody all offseason has been worried about, who's going to be calling the plays and this and that. Listen, Bill Belichick is by far the smartest head coach in NFL history. And, Ben, I won't lie. I have a few concerns about that offense. I do. But, again, Belichick is too smart of a head coach to fuck this up, essentially. I think that they have a bright future with Mac Jones. I think that he has saved the franchise, essentially, since Tom Brady has departed. And I just think Belichick is too clever schematically to let anything questionable happen from is New England's run here of dominance going to end? I just don't see it. Right. So I'm going to take New England plus 7, I think is fair. And I really see New England picking up where they left off last year.
Sounds good, man. And Jerry, I wish I knew the answer to this, but unfortunately, I just don't. I think there's something in the water down there at Hard Rock Stadium, and I guess that's a pun. It's the Dolphins in the water, but I just think it's tough when we go down there. It's different. The Bills, or excuse me, the Dolphins always look good against the Patriots at home. I got my mom chiming in here. She's a big Bills fan. How you doing? But yeah, I'm not sure. So Charles, go ahead and give us your take on this game, and
And
we'll
to
move forward.
answer Jerry's question, also, like, it's not just down in Miami. You've lost the last 2 out of 3 at home to the Bills. I mean, to the Dolphins too, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Yeah, we haven't had the best of luck with the Dolphins as of
I'm,
late. Even the
I'm
Patriots at home in general, it hasn't been what I've grown up to know it to be. So
Tariq Tariq Hill +7. He's gonna go for over 75 yards in this game. Two
yeah,
tugs.
that will only benefit me here in fantasy. So
Yeah,
I take it you're going Dolphins.
yeah. Dolphins. They gonna beat the Patriots by at least a touchdown.
Hey,
Yeah,
fair.
I hate to say it. No, I'm joking. I think the Patriots are gonna win this game.
Damn,
Oh shit,
he pulled
he
that back
turned
real
it
quick.
around, huh?
I'm just joking. I think the Patriots
Shit.
will win by. I don't think they'll cover, but well, they'll cover obviously because they're at +3.5. But I think they win by a field goal. I think Mac Jones gets that. I mean, that last game down in Miami last year, although people say the Patriots are already in the playoffs, so it didn't matter. It was pathetic. I mean, they should have won that game in Miami, and I think they will this year. I think Belichick is going to scheme the shit out of Tua. And one thing
That's
I
been
can
your
say,
go-to.
yeah,
scheming it up, scheming them
yeah.
open.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. But you think about it, and just real quick, I was watching Man in the Arena, and Brady said that Belichick is the reason why he knows how to read defenses so well. Not his offensive coordinators, just the way that he watches film and does all those things. So I think he can do the same thing for Mac Jones too.
I think he can too. That's why I'm like getting sick of people wondering about the offensive coordinator bullshit. Like,
It
who the
just
fuck cares?
exactly, exactly.
Like I just it's not going to be a problem when you got Belichick at the helm. You got a great quarterback going into year 2. Yeah, he may struggle, but at this point, it's not like it's Brady turning 45 and he's still in that offense and you don't know what you're going to do. Whereas, the Buccaneers here, they might be in trouble here over the next couple of years once Brady's gone. But that's a different topic for a different time. If you guys are watching this on Facebook, it would be amazing. It would be amazing if you would just share the show. Make sure everybody can see we're live here talking some NFL Week 1 football. Appreciate you guys for tuning in once again. We're on YouTube as well. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But let's keep it moving here. Let's talk Ravens and Jets. We got the Ravens -7.5 as a favorite there. I think they should cover that fairly easily. You got Joe Flacco as the Week 1 starter for those Jets, playing against his old squad in the Ravens. So I'm going all Ravens this game. I think the Jets are still going to be riding the struggle bus this year. Zach Wilson, I'm not buying into the hype quite yet. He's still got a lot of work to do. That offense has a lot of work to do. I know you bring in a rookie running back who's supposedly going to rule that offense this year. You got Elijah Moore there. I'm just not too high on the Jets yet. You're not going to hear me talk very high on the Jets. And I know at Rock Your Jaw, if you're watching,
Oh, that fucking
get the
guy.
fuck out of here. We don't want you in this.
At
So
Rocket Jaw, Debo's not playing for the Jets this year. That's why we
Yeah, how'd that turn out? How'd that turn out?
Charles, go ahead and give us your take on Ravens Jets Week 1.
The Ravens will win, and they'll win by at least 2 touchdowns. Book it.
Book it. Bush, how about your take?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens +14. Joe Flacco starting for the Jets against his old team, but I just think a healthy Lamar Jackson is going to run train on the Jets. Although I do think the Jets will be a competitive football team this year.
Run a train on the Jets?
Oh, yeah.
What is going on here?
Jesus.
You put the Trulies down, okay? This is a family show.
I don't know if I mark this episode as explicit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Jesus. So let's keep it moving here. No need to go into depth on that game or this next one. Jesus Christ. I don't even give a damn about this. So you got Jaguars, Commanders. Uh, I am not looking forward to even watching a single snap of this game. So you guys let me know what you're thinking.
Well, guess what? Where I am, it'll be on TV. But I'm going to root for Doug Peterson. Fuck Carson Wentz. Not really fuck Carson Wentz. I don't care.
Well, this was a family show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but kids cuss nowadays. You know,
They do. They do.
it's PG-13, not X-rated. But well, yeah, I want the Jaguars to win. The Jaguars are going to win. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm kidding. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, but the Jaguars will win. They'll steal a game here in Landover.
Yeah, we got like what do you say, 21-10 type game there? I just don't see it. I mean, it's going to be just one of those stupid, boring games, those 1 o'clock boring games that no one really wants to pay attention to. So I'll go Jaguars as well. I would love to see Doug Peterson coach Trevor Lawrence up and get some wins this year. We talked about it last week. They're kind of like my dark horse team to kind of turn things around this year. So, yeah, I got the Jaguars winning week 1, getting off to a great start. Jerry agrees. Go ahead and put your money on the Jaguars, Jerry, instead of the Lions. That would be
don't put your money
a
on
good
the
show.
Lions, Jerry.
So, Bush, we'll round out this one with you, my friend. This is something, like I said, it's not of too much importance, if you will. So
yeah, not the most exciting game on the 1 o'clock slate to start off opening weekend, but I'm going to take the Jaguars as well. I'll take them plus 10. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to thrive in Doug Peterson's offense. I think Doug Peterson is an absolutely incredible offensive mastermind. I think he works very well with his starting quarterbacks. I think he's got a great relationship with his staff all across the board. So I'll take Jacksonville.
fair enough. And before we move on, I do agree with this. I think Evan Ingram down in Jacksonville could be a bounce back, getting out of that Giants offense. Looking forward to seeing what he can do this year. So I don't know that I would have him in fantasy on my fantasy team, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Evan Ingram. But moving on, we are going to talk a little Browns Panthers. Baker said he is going to fuck them up going into week 1. I don't know about this one. It's a 1.5 point spread. He could go either way. Go ahead, Charles.
It's a pick-up game, but I'm going to go money line here and take the Browns. I can see that.
Plus money? Let's go. Yeah, I'd lay some money on that.
I'll put a little thing down money line on the Browns there. So I'm obviously picking the Browns. Baker Mayfield doesn't scare anybody when he says I'm going to fuck him up. Like you're not Tom Brady or even Peyton Manning. Shit, even Eli Manning. You ain't any of them. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do think Baker Mayfield going down there is going to help them. I think he will be an upgrade from Sam Darnold. I know they started hot last year, got off to the 3-0 start, finished the year 5-12. But Bush and I know Bush, you're high on these guys, and I want to hear your take here in a second. But I think they turn it around. I really do. I think they get some more wins this year. But at the same point in time, I'm going to hold true on my Matt Rule firing by week 10 statement, because I just don't know if he's the answer there in the NFL. I would even go as far as saying that. So I'm going to go Cleveland week 1. That might be bold, but let's roll with it. Let's roll with Jacoby. Let's see what he can do. And Amari Cooper making his his Cleveland debut. I know that sounds weird to you, Bush.
I wish he was still in Dallas, man.
I know. I got the Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper roster together, and it's not a stack. And it's just like, damn, I wish Dak was throwing Amari the ball. But anyway, let's talk some Browns Panthers. I got the Browns. What are you taking here week 1?
I am going to take Carolina, and I'm going to hold true that Baker returns to his 2020 form and leads Carolina to the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't agree with me on that, and that's fine. But I think that Baker Mayfield is a far better quarterback than Sam Darnold. And, maybe it was just good for Baker to get out of Cleveland. And I know Baker shot himself in the foot a couple of times with his comments to the media and his poor play, but sometimes a change of scenery is really good for guys. And I think that Carolina has some pretty good pieces on offense, especially with DJ Moore. If McCaffrey stays healthy, I think he's going to make a world of difference in that offense. So I'll take Carolina +6. I think they're going up against the Browns team that they're not at their full capacity or strength yet because Deshaun Watson has been suspended for the first 11 games, deservedly. So, um, I don't think Cleveland's at full strength yet. So I'm going to take Carolina.
Sounds good, man. And Charles, I think you made your pick, right? Yeah, we're going Cleveland all the way, right? Yeah, I think you got to go Cleveland. So we'll see. I mean, Bush, I see where you could be correct as well. Like I said earlier, these picks are going to be a battle all year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how many picks we get right in week one. So
Matt Rule is still an idiot.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. He's on the hot seat for sure. So let's talk a divisional game here. Week one, Colts at Texans. Colts are favored by 7.5. Texans, if you're going to go money line, you're looking like 275. So I don't know. Texans, I don't think I'm too high on. Everybody seems to be high on the Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks connection, but believe me, folks, there are plenty of better connections here across this league. And I'm going to go Colts. I got Colts as my division winner. I think they win this game fairly easily. I know the Texans can be flashy in those divisional games. Hell, the Texans gave the Chargers a run for their money last year. But yeah, I'm going to roll with Colts. I see Matt Ryan coming in there week one, getting his feet wet, getting a big dub for Indianapolis. So yeah, I'm going to ride with the Colts this week. How about for you, Charles?
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts. But I'm not going to count the Texans completely out. I don't see it being an easy victory with Lovey Smith over there with that defense. But I can see, this is everyone. A lot of people picked Mr. Taylor first with in fantasy football. So this can be a big game for him, or it could be a disappointment. We'll see.
Bush, you going Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown scorer prop bet?
Oh, that's a gimme.
That's a lock.
That's a gimme. Yeah, I think that's absolutely a lock. I'm going to take Indianapolis +14.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah, I think the Texans. Look, I respect Lovey Smith. I think that he is a phenomenal head coach, and I think schematically he is very good defensively with his philosophy. I just think the Texans are going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. I feel like they've got a no-name roster all across the board. They've lost so much talent over the years. They're not a very desirable destination in free agency. All right, you hung on to Brandon Cooks. You drafted Derek Stingley. But I don't know. I don't see it with the Texans this year. So I'm going to take Indy +14.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's keep things moving here. Let's talk a little Giants and Titans. I think this one could be close. And I know that sounds like a bold statement. What was it? -5.5 for the Titans. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I think the Giants, under Brian Dable here in his first year, I think this could be a close one. I know we've talked about the Titans wide receiving core at length, with it being, kind of anemic was the word that I think I've been using. They're going to be relying on Derrick Henry, but yeah, I think I still go Titans here, but that spread's going to be a tough one to pick. I think I might stay away from a 5.5 there. Charles, what do you got this week?
I think the Titans will win here. I can see them covering. I know Brian Dable, but you got to remember, Derek Jones is still the quarterback. So, um,
Daniel
Daniel Jones, not Derek. I'm thinking of Derek Carr.
and
Um,
David Carr.
yeah, at least I got Derek right this time. 'Cause
Right. Yeah, Daniel Jones is still there. So,
Daniel Jones is still there. So, and they don't have Evan Ingram, who was, a good target for him. But Saquon Barkley is coming back, so we'll see.
Bush, I know you are involved in a family full of Giants fans through and through. Shout out to big man Alec Bush. Hope he tunes into the pod here at some point over the next few. But let us know your thoughts on this game here specifically and kind of what you think is going to happen this weekend.
So, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to take the Giants +3. I think that they edge out the Titans in Tennessee. Look, with the way things ended last year for Tennessee, I think it had a lot of people questioning Ryan Tannehill, especially with his comments after they had drafted Malik Willis. And, not that Julio Jones was much of a factor in that offense last year, but Julio's gone. You ship A.J. Brown off to Philly during the draft. So now you're starting receiving core. You've got Treylon Burks. You've got Robert Woods. Manalapan boy, Jerry Moore. Interesting comment you've got there, buddy. But anyway, Manalapan boy, Versker's not there anymore either. So I don't think Tennessee, yes, I did pick them to be my division winner, and I'm going to hold true to that. But I don't know. I just think that the Giants all across the board this year with the new coaching staff, they're going to be much, much better. So I'm going to take the Giants +3 here. I think Tennessee starts off 0-1, but they'll pick it up throughout the course of the year. They're still one of the better teams in the AFC. So,
Right. And what do you think about Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry with one arm tied behind his back, more or less.
Look, you're going up against professional football players. All right. You think that if you think the Giants are going to come out and lay down, you're entirely wrong. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. They really, really, really edged up that defense in the draft, I think. They've moved on from Joe Judge. They've got Brian Dable. They got Wink Martindale from Baltimore, who's one of the better defensive coordinators of the league. It just didn't work out in Baltimore last year. So I think that the Giants are going to have a good start to the season. I think they start off 1-0. I don't think it will come easily, but I think that they start off 1-0.
Fair enough, man. We won't keep it rolling on too far beyond that. Let's talk some Packers Vikings, another divisional matchup. I know a couple of us here have been high on the Vikings. Bush, I think the Packers didn't even crack your NFC playoff rankings. We'll get those back up here, but yeah, let's go back and talk some Packers Vikings. Packers favored by 1.5. But I am liking that Vikings money line at plus money. I go Vikings here. Vikings are at home. Rodgers, who's he throwing to? Alan Lazard? I mean, come on. So, Charles, I'll turn it over to you. I know I know how you feel about Rodgers and the Packers, but what do you think? Who do you got here, week 1?
The Vikings will win this game, and it's not because of the quarterback of the Packers. I just think the Vikings will win this one. It's because of where it is. And again, it's week 1, a divisional game. The preparation in the off season, the Vikings having a new coach, and that'll ultimately help them, I think, in the end. Do you know who will do better as the season goes by? But I won't pick the Vikings here.
Yeah, and let's not get it twisted. I mean, I know it's only week 1. We're all three of us are going to look far into it, but I mean, look, we saw what happened week 1 last year with the Packers going down into it was Jacksonville at the time. If you remember, the Saints had to play a couple home games there in Jacksonville to start last season, and they got their ass kicked 38-3 by the Saints, and that was a storyline on NFL Network all week. Oh, the Saints are great. The Rodgers, what happened? And look, this kind of stuff is going to happen week 1. There's no two ways about it. I think we're going to see some upsets. We're going to see some things that we didn't expect. But hey, it's going to be teams finding their stride and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of our picks end up being wrong. I mean, look, we're not experts here by any stretch of the imagination. We're just a couple guys talking, shooting the shit, talking football. So, yeah, I'm gonna roll Vikings here. Bush, finish us off with your take on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings here. I'll take them +7. It's a divisional game to start off the year. Um, I really feel the loss of Devontae Adams for Green Bay is going to hurt them. Now, mind you, nobody knew who Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark were when they were playing for Indianapolis with Peyton Manning. But Peyton Manning absolutely made them, in my opinion. And I think that those were very good receivers. But when you play with a guy such as Peyton Manning, he will elevate everything about your team, your offense, your defense, your coaching. Aaron Rodgers is the same way. But what's up, Joe?
I think there's a. I'm sorry. I think there's a better. I get what you're saying, but I think there's a better example of this. Tom Brady won Super Bowls with Deion Branch, Troy Brown.
Right.
Who was it? David Givens. Peyton Manning had some all stars on his team, but I get you. I'm sorry. I just
I mean, you can really take your pick as far as an analogy goes there. I think Brady's probably the better example now that you mention it. I do think I think that's a good point you bring up. I do think Rodgers is in that stratosphere, but man, you're playing with, you're playing with Alan Lazard, who doesn't even have 100 receptions in his career. You've got Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson, who you drafted in the second round, I'm pretty sure. And you do have Randall Cobb coming back, but I don't see it with Green Bay's offense. I really, really don't. And I think that Minnesota has playmakers all over that offense. Justin Jefferson, Thielen, who is still a very, very good receiver. Herb Smith, Ben, I know you're incredibly high on Herb Smith. And you've got Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league. And they've got a new head coach in place as well with a new staff to boot. So I'm going to take Minnesota here +7. I think that they edge out Green Bay. And I think the division's going to come down between the two of them. But ultimately, I see Minnesota taking it.
Oh, yeah. I agree, man. I think that's a good take. I see the Vikings showing up in this one and looking good under Kevin O'Connell. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Irv Smith. You mentioned them all, Bush. I think the Vikings take this one. It'll be close, but it's time for the Vikings to start paying back the Packers for all the bullshit that they've had to take in over the last few years, over the last decade, I would even say. So let's get to a couple more of these 425 games. We've got the Chiefs going into Glendale to take on the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Let's just hope being a 425 game, he's got enough time to get his film study in before the game. I know he's got a couple hours worth of shit he's got to do to get ready. What are we thinking here week one? I know the Chiefs, the line has actually moved. The Chiefs were only favored by 3.5, but it is now at 5.5. I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on what you think is going to happen here week one. Go ahead, Charles.
The Chiefs, they're going to win. It's like what Kyler. I think at the end of this game, the Cardinals will be like, shit, we shouldn't have paid this guy. That's how bad they're going to beat them. I just don't. About DeAndre Hopkins, we saw it last year. We saw how he pouted out there, and then he got hurt because DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there, and he won't have him for the first 6 games. I think Cliff Kingsbury doesn't belong in the NFL, and he's going up against who I think is the best coach in the league. It's him and Belichick are 1-2, 1-A. Yeah.
What about that Chiefs defense, though? You think do you think everybody's too high on the Chiefs defense this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any. But the Chiefs' defense is the same as it's been the last couple of years. Spagnuolo, it's a bend but don't break defense. That goes back to the Eagles in the early. Spagnuolo learned, and the reason why I said this, Spagnuolo learned from the great Jim Johnson, late great Jim Johnson in the early 2000s. I mean, it's a bend but don't break defense. Nothing too special about it. The only difference is they don't have the names that the Eagles have. Like they don't have a Brian Dawkins or a Jeremiah Trotter there. But it's the same thing that's been. They lost Tyron Matthew, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing as this Giants defense. They don't have as much D line power, but that was a bend but don't break defense most of the year in 2007 too.
Yeah, it was.
Remember, while they won that Super Bowl 17-14, they also lost the Week 17 game 38-35. So, yeah. They gave up some points that year, and it's going to be the same thing with them. But the offense is going to carry the Chiefs over. So, it's not – the defense will get better. Defenses get better as the year – the good teams, their defenses get better as the year goes on. The offenses usually start a little bit faster. Something.
Right. Yeah, no, I can totally see where you're coming from here. I'm going to ride with the Chiefs as well. And Bush, before I toss it over to you, I would say that, up until now, I've really never, and you guys know my short list of teams that I don't like. But up until now, the Cardinals have never really came across my mind. But with the way Kyler Murray's been acting, I know we've talked about it at length. I am not a fan of the Cardinals whatsoever. I know James Conner's a big Erie boy. I live here in Erie, about a mile away from where he went to high school. I wish him success, but beyond that, man, I am not a fan of the Cardinals this year or any year. So
you also went to the same college as him, so don't forget that part.
Right.
And Larry Fitzgerald and Aaron Donald and go down the list.
No, I love those guys, but
I'm in complete agreement with you guys. I think Kyler Murray is, excuse my language here, I've said worse on the episode, but the whiniest bitch in the league. He really is. And it's funny how something as simple as that can make you dislike an entire football team. But I'm going to take Kansas City here. I think that this is going to be a very high-scoring game, just because of how, just because of the offensive firepower. I understand that Arizona doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins, but I still think that they're going to find ways to put points up on the board. But I'm going to take Kansas City +7. That might be a little generous considering how high-scoring of an affair I believe this is going to be. But I don't wish Kyler Murray any success. I don't like his attitude. I think he's whiny. I don't think he's a good leader. I think he practically forced the Cardinals' hand with the contract extension that they gave him this offseason. And then they had to renege on what they put into his contract about study time.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
I don't understand what was going on there. It's just very, very confusing.
Super odd.
Kansas City.
You got it, man. And before we move on, Jerry Moore chiming in. He's a big Raiders fan. I forgot to mention that at the top of the show when he started commenting. Jerry's a big Raiders fan, but hey, he said Dawkins made him a closet Eagles fan for a bit.
That when you talk, I've talked about Dawkins on this show before. Like, you just watch that guy. I don't know anybody who's played with that passion in the last. Like, this he's a murderer and will pray for you after he kills you. I think we talked about it that one episode where he looked at Takeo Spikes and said, "I'm gonna kill him." To the receiver, and then smack the receiver.
Oh yeah. And Bush, back to your point, I regret for not having it ready, but I wish I could have done a little screen share, and all three of us could have just enjoyed the sheer look of just upset terror in Kyler's eyes when he threw that pick to Who was that guy? He used to be on the Cardinals, and he went over to the Packers. Remind me of Rasul Douglas.
He used to be Douglas. Super Bowl 52 champion, Rasul Douglas.
Kyler, and then how the hell do you throw AJ Green under the bus like that? Essentially blamed it on him.
First of all, why is AJ Green his first read on that play?
Why isn't it?
Because he knew Bush needed a fantasy touchdown. That's what it was.
Yes, that too. Oh my God. I guess he was trying to do me a favor, but he fucked me instead. So there we go.
Oh shit. Let's move on. We got a big divisional game here coming up. Raiders at Chargers. Jerry, we're going to talk one in your wheelhouse now. Chargers are my Super Bowl pick. Raiders, I got going to the playoffs as well. I think this is going to be an absolute battle. Uh, I can see the Chargers just pulling this one out by maybe a field goal, maybe a touchdown. I don't know. It's going to be close, but I'm looking forward to catching this one in that 4:30 window. Um, I will go Chargers week one, and I'll turn it over to you guys. Charles, go ahead and give us your pick for this game.
I'm gonna go with. I'm going with the Raiders. The Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders for this game because Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr. I think them two together are going to have, and I like that little run. I think them two together are going to have a good first game. I'm looking at Devontae Adams being there, and then if you notice, he's sprinkling that little running back by committee type thing that y'all used to have in New England, and he's going to make
Yep.
this thing. And don't forget Darren Waller. I'm sorry, Hunter Renfro. I mean, the offense just has a bunch of weapons. The one thing about the Chargers, they got Khalil Mack, right?
Khalil Mack,
And
J.C.
JC
And
Jackson.
J.C. Jackson, but he's not playing this week, is he?
I am not sure off the top of my head.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure he is. We're not confusing him with Tre'Davious White.
Okay, I thought he was going to be out. J.C. Jackson might be out this week.
I
I'll
don't,
check.
I don't think so.
Correct.
No.
But Joey Bosa on that team, but I think that the Raiders will be able to keep. I mean, they beat the Chargers with Rick Passaccio last year.
Yeah.
Now they got a really good offensive coach. Rick Passaccio was just thrown into the fire, kind of.
Rich Bisaccia was a special teams coordinator in Dallas. I mean,
Yeah. So you think about that, and Josh McDaniels is. I don't think there's a coach more ready. I think he wanted to wait it out in New England, but Bill is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. But I think he's ready for, and this is second stint in the AFC West. I just put that together.
Yeah, and I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
Either.
I just, and we've talked about it so many times, but this is second stint over there.
Yep. And he knows these teams. I mean,
yeah,
the Patriots have played these guys numerous times over the years.
So I think he is going to. It's going to be a good first game, and the Raiders start off well. So they start off well in the beginning of the season, even on the Gruden they were, and Del Rio too.
Right. I do got J.C. Jackson as a game time decision. Just pulled that up. He has not yet been ruled out, but he is facing a little bit of injury problems to get the season underway here. So Bush, go ahead and lead us into your pick for this one. I know this is a tough one to pick, but what are we thinking for week one?
I'm going to take the Raiders. I think that they're going to get off to a really hot start. As you guys have mentioned, I think Josh McDaniels is more than ready for this opportunity as a head coach. I think that they've got a great offense. That Devontae Adams addition, man. I mean, him and Derek Carr made some great music together in college with their connection. But even beyond that, they're such good friends off the field as well. There was a story, I think it was an SI story that just recently came out where, Devontae Adams was talking about his relationship with Derek Carr, and he had mentioned that they almost died together in a rafting accident. So, the two of them are very, very close. You've got Hunter Renfro in the slot. You've got Darren Waller, top 5 tight end in the league. Now the Chargers do have very good bookends.
And their fans travel well.
Yeah, exactly. To Jerry's comments here at the bottom of the screen.
And they played in LA for a long time too. So
yes, exactly. They did. So I think that the Raiders have more firepower offensively than the Chargers do. I think that the Chargers are still a very good team. And as I was mentioning, I think that their bookends are very good, and they've got an amazing secondary with Derwin James and J.C. Jackson. But I'm going to take the Raiders here +6.
So you got the Raiders covering. Okay. I think it's going to be tight. I really do. This is one that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll keep it moving. Let's talk some Sunday night football, man. I am just jacked for this game. Going to be able to catch this one as soon as I get out of work. Buccaneers going to Dallas. This is a flip-flop of the first game last year where the Cowboys went down to Tampa. But Bush, let's turn it back over to you. I gave Charles the floor when we were talking the Eagles. Let's get you back on here, man, and run us through this. This is gonna be a tight one. It's what is it? A 2.5-point spread for the Bucks. Your Cowboys are plus money. So, what are we thinking is gonna happen here, Week 1? I know your offense is kind of depleted. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but let's hear it.
I think it is. Look, I've been very hard on the Cowboys all offseason, and I joke about my 3-14 comment. They're not going to be as good as they were last year. But I'm always going to keep it real when it comes to the Cowboys. I don't see them winning this game opening up against Tampa Bay at home on Sunday Night Football. I think Tampa beats them. I think it'll be a very, very, very competitive game because Dak Prescott has killed the Buccaneers in his first two career games against them. Completion percentage over 75%. I mean, he went up against the same defense in the opener last year as Mahomes went up against in the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, and Dak shredded them. So I think Dak is going to ball out this game. But, look, Brady's coming for blood again this year, and you're opening up against the Cowboys, who also have a depleted defense. I mean, you lose Randy Gregory, you lose a bunch of key pieces on the backside of the ball as well. And the only way I see the Cowboys winning this game is if they get pressure up the middle, which, as I've stated before, is the formula to beating Brady, as the Giants have so notably done in 2 Super Bowls. If the Cowboys can get pressure up the middle, then yeah, okay, I'll give them a fair chance. But I don't see it. I'm not as high on them this year. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win this +3.
Yeah. For the good of the picks, I would say that's probably your best bet. Jerry, to your question, the Bucks are not underdogs this week. I apologize if we made it sound that way. The Bucks are actually favored by 2.5 going into Dallas, and I think they do cover that. So also, as you mentioned, Godwin is going to be back.
Absolutely.
He's a huge piece for Brady. Someone I will be cherishing on my fantasy roster this year. But yeah, I got the Bucks as well. Bush, I want to take those Cowboys, but I think it's going to be a bit of an adjustment.
Thank God it's almost the end of the show.
Yeah. So Charles, we know where you're going with this one. Consistently clowning the Cowboys week to week to week. But give us your take on this one before
Charles is the Stephen A. of this show.
The Monday night game.
The Stephen A. of this show.
I think the Cowboys are going I think the Cowboys going to win this game. I really do.
You're full of shit.
I am picking the Cowboys to win this game. I think the Cowboys are going, as long as they don't got old man River out there playing left tackle, they'll be fine. Because God forbid,
man, don't throw Jason Peters under the bus like that.
Jason Peters just signed with the Cowboys this week.
Yeah,
if you didn't know.
Good for him stealing money from Jerry Jones. I mean,
hey, there's no more slices of the pie.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Dude. I can't with them.
Did Jerry find him when he was out looking for hookers? Because I don't know why he would sign this old ass man to play left tackle. He's 40 years old playing left tackle, getting hurt. Did you see the play that Aaron Donald had on him? Whatever. I do think the Cowboys, though, will win this game. It's going to be close. Y'all released Lyle Collins this week, too. Why y'all do that?
No, they released Lyle in the offseason.
Oh, what?
He signed with Cincinnati.
You know what? I was watching.
That's right.
Something.
He did.
Yeah, I was watching something. I was watching something recorded. That's why it said that. Because I was like, wait a minute, why the fuck they do that?
And
they did.
I'll keep this very brief. You lose your bookend tackles on offense. You lose your bookend defense, or one of your bookend defensive ends on defense. You lose Amari Cooper. I mean, guys, look, this is. I was playing Madden with them. The roster is unrecognizable compared to last year, and Michael Gallup won't be your number 2 week 1. Yes, I think he's going to miss week 1. We'll be back week 2. So, I don't need any
Kevontae
more reason to
Turpin.
justify it.
You got Kevontae Turpin returning the opening kickoff of the Sunday night football game for a touchdown.
No, I'll got him doing that. But
You got Dak running up the middle with 20 seconds left and no timeouts.
14 seconds.
Oh, I was being generous with 20 seconds.
We're at 14.
Dude, I can see. I was sitting right here, and I had Truly cans lined up. And the minute that happened, I
You lined
slapped
about-
them all off the table. Oh yeah, I was
And then you
pissed.
proceeded to line up about 12 more of them, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Fuck that.
I'm gonna pick the Cowboys by 3. They're gonna win this game by 3 points. Watch. Oh, Jerry, this is just the beginning.
Jerry, you have no idea. These two are going to go at it all year.
You got to tune in, especially when the Eagles play the Cowboys. I already got my folder ready.
So let's finish up the show tonight here, boys. Talking a little Monday Night Football. Broncos at Seahawks. Russell Wilson makes his return to Seattle in Week 1. I know a lot of people are talking about this game. Broncos are favored by a touchdown to go in there and get it done up in the Pacific Northwest. I think the Broncos get it done myself, but I think this is going to be a close one. I think it's not going to be what everybody is cracking it up to be. I think Russ and the Broncos have to find some time and gain that chemistry and mesh, but at the same point in time, you got to have Drew Lock meshing with guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as well. So I'm going to go Broncos, but I don't know. What are you guys' takes on this one? This is kind of tough for me.
Do people really care about this game?
I think
I was about to say that I really didn't, but
I'm just gonna be
I do. I love Monday Night Football. I'm looking forward to it.
I think I will pay more attention to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Exactly.
I can't wait for that.
Salters. I love Lisa Salters. Her dad was actually my substitute teacher, one of my substitute teachers who was a regular in my high school, Glenn Salters. I hope he's still alive. Shout out to him. But okay. It's like I don't think we care about. I don't care about him going back to Seattle to play a game or the Seahawks playing him. It's not like he left there on bad terms. He just got traded. This isn't like Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl in 2013. And yeah, he'll show them what they're missing, but they were missing it while he was there. They weren't winning anything. So I know he held it together, but he hasn't been good since the LOB. I mean, the team hasn't been great since the LOB was there. It's been more so maybe win one playoff game and to be done, but they haven't really reached anything after that. After the Patriots beat them in that Super Bowl, which they were up 24-14 at one point. What's been there? So I think I agree with Bush. He throws the best moon ball in the league, but other than that, when's the last time they won a division? I think, okay. Yeah, when's the last time they won a division?
Probably 20 whenever Peyton Manning retired.
Are we talking about the Broncos?
Yeah.
Last time they won the division?
No, not the Broncos. No, I'm talking about the Seahawks because I'm just talking
2020, the pandemic year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
so
I didn't realize they won that year.
2 years. Yeah, no, they got off to a really fast start. But yeah, I mean, Charles, to your point, is Seattle going to be as competitive this year? No, probably not, and for obvious reasons. Russell Wilson isn't there. I'm going to take Denver in this game, which kind of pains me to say because I don't like the Broncos one bit, but I'm going to take Denver in this game. I agree with Jerry. I think that Russ is going to go back in there and show them that he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And while I do agree that it was probably a mutual decision for Russ and Seattle to part ways, I think Pete Carroll can be a stubborn old man who has no clue how to run a modern-day offense. I really don't. Pete Carroll's a good head coach, but he's not a good offensive-minded head coach, in my opinion. Too ground and pound. I really think that he believes Marshawn Lynch is still in the backfield sometimes.
Yeah,
and he's not.
I
And that the
I agree
Legion
with
of
that.
Boom is still back there, and I don't know. I'm gonna take the Broncos in this one.
For sure.
And I do take the Broncos, by the way. I just wonder if people actually cared about this game. I'm having fun now. I'm just having a little-
We know what happened last time. You
Yo, I
started
heard he got
pulling
out of that sack and threw a touchdown, Charles.
He did it. He
Okay.
got fucked up on that play.
So for anyone who's tuning in, Charles, for anyone who's not tuning in, rather,
Charles is a
Charles
troll.
has been trolling the shit out of Bush here with his backgrounds like he did about a month ago here through
Remember
some of
the
our
first
other
time?
episodes.
Oh, dude, I was totally distracted.
He was flustered.
I couldn't give out picks. I couldn't articulate myself. I just struggled all day.
But yeah, so let's kind of round it out here, guys. We got the week 1 game coming up here tomorrow night at 8:20, Thursday night football. I think it's actually going to be presented by Sunday Night Football like it has been in years past. But Bills favored -2.5. You got the Rams plus money on the money line. Once again, I'm going to go Rams. Charles taking the Bills. Bush is going to also take the Rams. So we got a little conflict there between the three of us. I think this is going to be a great game, but we will be following along with all of you guys. We got an amazing slate here for week 1. Looking forward to getting back in here and breaking things down, talking about some of the final scores and some of the stuff that we saw throughout week 1 here. But that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Bump and Run podcast. Again, make sure you share this video. Make sure you tell a friend about this podcast. We are just pouring it out here every week. I mean, if you're an NFL fan, you're going to love everything that we bring to the table. Again, thank you to Dr. Squatch for sponsoring the show. But that is going to wrap it up for us this week. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Bump and Run podcast.